wonder if this is a good time to go over the Taliyah changes, actually. Maybe we should take a break and look at those. I think I will. We're gonna do this while I'm not playing the game. I think this is an excellent excuse. So, anyone in chat, have you guys seen the Taliyah changes yet? Oh, I should turn off my curve. Yeah, get rid of that for a bit. Let's take a peek. I've read these. I had my first reactions off stream, but I haven't looked too deeply into them because I was busy getting footage. So, I am a Taliyah player. I really enjoy Taliyah. But I play Taliyah support. So that's not exactly an orthodox playstyle. And it's not exactly something I was anticipating being a priority to preserve. I only started playing Taliyah like after she was removed from the mid lane. I did play Taliyah jungle. The first clear is pretty poor these days, so we don't see much Taliyah jungle. That's like the big problem. It clears too slowly and it's too unreliable. The reason we don't see mid, even though I'm pretty sure we actually, like, it has an okay win rate. Let's actually take a peek. It performs fine, like the few people who do play it. Its pick rate is just non-existent. The reason we don't see her mid very much these days is because we have, like, you know, it's a lack of agency. I'm pretty confident that she has a hard time trading with a lot of champions. Frankly, Taliyah mid just comes off as something that the people who one-trick it play and make work. I actually just realized I don't know very much about it. So, let's see what we have. Keep in mind, I have read these already, so I'm going to be focusing a little more on the numbers this time. The direction looked good. I have actually high hopes for support Taliyah after this. I don't think the playstyle is killed. But the playstyle also relied on immediate shove and roam and then one shot. So that will change. Taliyah's passive, we calculated the break-even point to be around this level 12 mark. So once you're at level 12, you break even and eventually exceed what you could have gotten on your passive. This time before passive falls off is actually huge for jungling. You're going to be allowed to take more efficient paths and maintain your movement speed. For roams in general, I think it will be easier to dart around vision a little bit, but I can't anticipate like how much it's going to be impacted. Well, yeah, that one's pretty blatant. Taliyah can't shove and roam at all from the mid lane. Unsure how accurate, Alex. That's what killed it. That's what killed mid lane Taliyah. So, Q now has a tiny AoE, which should be enough for clumped up minions. It deals significantly less damage at all ranks, although with a higher AP ratio. The extra rock damage reduction is higher, so again, significantly less damage, universally. In fact, like the ultimate AP ratio at the end is lower. Now to compensate, the cooldown is down a little bit. You may say, well, this is just like a full-on nerf outside of the AoE, and it is, but then we have the worked ground boulder, which is a larger AoE, deals double the damage, so it has that slow is actually huge. That slow is going to be really impactful for Taliyah's play pattern no matter what role she's in, although she's not going to have access to it right away. So the idea is that you get your worked ground as soon as possible, you get that boulder, it's going to prolong your combat pattern. But once you've been in combat with Taliyah for a short bit, this boulder followed by the WE combo and all that, like, it's way harder to get away from. Right. 10% more damage on it. For wave clear, I imagine not. We'd have to actually see this in action because it's really hard to anticipate wave clear from numbers alone. But the fact that she can push the wave, like, just more with this worked ground pattern, with the bigger rock, This is probably going to create an opportunity where it's like you Q once, you Q again, the front line's gone, but because the cooldown starts at 6.5, you don't get that right away. This costs 30. This costs more. Her overall Q combo is actually a lot more costly, so we'll have to kind of see how that goes. If the entire thing is more costly, but it has the AoE, you need fewer of them. Your combo is less important for wave clear, so you're not going to be casting the expensive E and all that. I'm just trying to think of how this is going to play out and how much haste is going to matter, because like this isn't a champion who's going to want to build Cosmic Drive, because otherwise it's just a pattern, like it's just a stat stick with no passive, because Taliyah will struggle to proc that in a pattern that is meaningful. The extra rock the Q now deals 150% damage to monsters, so despite the lower damage, they are trying to preserve her jungle, which is good. I don't have hope that her clear will be substantially improved. I think they're trying to maintain the status quo on this one, and that sounds okay with me. Although, actually, just inherently, her clear will be a little bit better in terms of Q on Raptors, Wolves, Krugs. They're trying to preserve the jungling capabilities, because I've heard August say that Taliyah's popularity skyrocketed once they introduced her to junglers. I think junglers are kind of just itching for mages to play sometimes. W, damage is gone, but AoE radius is up, delay before knockup is down, cooldown is down, mana cost down, going to 0. This is actually like a huge buff to Taliyah. And this is one of the reasons that I think support Taliyah is going to be completely okay. It just means, like, Taliyah before, in support role, all of her abilities were individually useful, even though you were fishing for burst combos. And now that we have, like, now that the burst combos are de-emphasized and less important, we can focus on the specific power, the reliability of W going up is actually really big. Actually, just in general, for every role. It's not going to matter for wave clear, but jungle Taliyah is going to be happy with the gank ability, support Taliyah is going to be happy with just ganks, laning, combos with Ashe are going to be more reliable. It's hard for me to anticipate the impact of mid Taliyah, but you know, this won't boost her laning, but it will just make her a better champion in general, in all roles. E, the mines now stun enemies that dash through them. I can't tell if this is a knockdown yet. It's not actually telling me if this knocks down enemies. The upfront damage is up because the damage after 4 seconds is gone. So if you don't detonate your mines, you will not deal damage later. So you must throw someone through the mines, and you must, like, someone must dash through them. So the max damage is slightly, it's actually down meaningfully on the AP ratio. Where is it down meaningfully on the AP ratio? Wait, what? Something doesn't read properly here. This must be because of the shape. This must be something about the shape, because the shape has changed. There's now more rows, so the range is up and the width is down. So it's more of like a cone outwards, which is actually going to be pretty big for space control. Because, Taliyah's, like, this is a slow, right? And then Taliyah has to cast from her position, right? Oh, is that a thing? Where is that? Damage reduction per... There it is. Thank you. Thank you. I missed that. I missed that one. The mine spawn delay, you know, it's a little... We'll see how this feels. This is going to be, like, very little. The field duration up, so this is a longer zone of control. So Taliyah, if she wants wave clear in mid quickly, must combo the wave. So now the W changes, the mana cost actually matters a lot, because if this is still part of her wave clear pattern, she cares about this. I do anticipate her leveling this ability last, so it's not going to be like will it? Will she? Yeah, I mean, she does now. She does on live. I don't see that changing. Later range up, usability up, out of the leaf off the wall, early range down. The range is Yeah, you know, it's down 500 early, up 500 later. Damage no longer knocks Taliyah off her wall. Big. This is going to be opening a lot more angles for her. Cannot cast within 3 seconds of taking damage, so that's how they balance it off. Taliyah now dashes to the location she clicked instead. This is like a quality of life usability thing, except she does jump further off her wall. And she can get through a wall. So a big problem with current Taliyah is that you will use your wall, just dive in, try to execute your burst combo, and then it's like a crapshoot if you're able to hit this or not without setup, even though you're supposed to be the setup with your wall. Now, that's not going to be much of a problem now because Taliyah's combat pattern just is slower. I guess that emphasizes Rylai's? Like, you're kind of incentivized to build Rylai's now? If your combat pattern is slower, then you want to be tankier. It's actually hard for me to kind of assess this now because when I look at this from the support perspective, this E is beautiful, this W is beautiful, the Q is nice. I'm a little concerned that I'm going to steal the entire backline. If that's the case, I have to now target the frontline minions. If I want to roam, this hurts as support Taliyah. But I'm now a proper support. I'm not here to just one-shot. I actually have reliable setup. I'm more consistently useful to my team. Because, honestly, I do think, like, this radius plus this, like, I believe experienced Taliyah players will feel this and be very happy. Plus, maybe I can actually answer Rakan, who Taliyah should, in theory, be able to play well into. But who practically can't because his engage is too fast to get your E out. Maybe the range actually matters and controls him more effectively. In terms of jungling, I do not anticipate much extra power in the clear, so I don't think Taliyah jungle is going to be way better unless I'm proven wrong in clear speed. If Taliyah can't get over her first 2 clears, if it's still like just stupid slow, then nothing will compensate for that, and she'll remain kind of a niche but very playable pick. That's kind of what I'm foreseeing. Mid lane, I'm excited, but it's hard for me to... Well, what's her interaction like? Like, how is she able to interact? I guess she can kind of poke enemies. She's probably really good into melees. Certain melees. The AoE Q alone is going to be a power up, for sure. The thing I like about these changes, like, every single time you have, like, a mid-scope update like this, the champion is never nerfed. Even though they will lose some power, I look at this Taliyah change, and I think, literal worst-case scenario, she is the same power level in all roles. That's worst-case scenario, and the direction is nice. Because, like, you know, Taliyah's unreliability problems are bad. They are very, very, very bad. I'm anticipating support to be good with a different playstyle. I'm anticipating jungle to potentially receive a buff. I think it really depends on what her clear speed is with this new Q. That's gonna mean a lot. I mean, air damage is just down across the board though, right? This could be really bad for blue buff, actually. Unless I'm not factoring in this. I'm not factoring in the big-ass chunk, 150% damage to monsters, double damage, like Boulder here. Yeah, I'm not factoring in the Boulder enough. This Boulder might actually be absolutely insane for Taliyah's clear. Oh, no, it is going to be good for her clear. Hold on, because current live Taliyah hates using her worked ground to clear in the jungle. She hates that. Support Taliyah loves worked ground. Just to harass in lane, regen mana, presence of mind, kind of augment the poke without taking her carry's waves. No, jungle should receive a clear speed buff. Even with the nerfed damage, I think this Boulder actually makes a huge difference. We'll have to test it. We'll have to see. We'll have to see, because they're trying to go net neutral on just the Qs, but... Huh. I think jungle Taliyah is going to be really good, actually. Like, probably not top 10, but I think it'll be really playable. And then mid lane Taliyah remains to be seen, because I'm not actually convinced that the AoE Q is good enough for her pattern. It's huge, it's critical, she needs it. She absolutely needs it to play there. But I'm not convinced it'll be good enough for the shove and roam she likes, and then I have like some interaction concerns. How's she gonna interact with my mages? Oh, she'd be great to gank for, actually. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm going to need to wait. We're going to need to see more about mid lane Taliyah. We're going to need to... Like, I'm pretty confident in support Taliyah. And I think jungle Taliyah actually has the potential to be excellent. So I'm just going to test its clear. That's my initial impression of these changes, guys. That's what I'm thinking right away. And I may be downplaying the effect that this AoE Q is going to give to mid lane Taliyah. I think it's going to be huge for her. I just don't think it'll immediately make her like an outstanding mid laner. Absolutely 100% playable. No doubt about that. But I'm not willing to make any statements with my current knowledge of mid lane Taliyah before I get to see it in action.